SEKIRO, Shadows Die Twice. A very tough game for very tough people, but still a masterpiece nonetheless, with probably the best combat system ever created by mankind, thanks to this cool dude. Yo bro, jumping, deflecting, dodging. Every combat mechanic combined makes this combat nothing short of amazing. But hey, for this great combat to work and to be something to be praised, you need cool shit to kill. And Sekiro does not disappoint on that front either. Just like any game from Software, the enemies, and more precisely the bosses, are some of the best ever seen in gaming. And in today's video, I will be ranking every boss and some semi-bosses from Sekiro in a tier list from S to F tier. Yes, this time I'm going to stick to the normal tier list, because the last video's tier was kinda all over the place. Not that a lot of people know that, but still I am able to change the names of the tiers whenever I please, okay? Leave a like and let's go. If From Software is good at something, it's on surprising you with its first boss. You have this one, this one, this one. They just enjoy making you shit your pants, and in Sekiro wouldn't be different. They pick you, throw you in an open space with a crazy guy running towards you on a horse, screaming his lungs out, and they call it a day. I have to admit, I cried a little and maybe pissed my pants. Maybe. Now, the quality of the boss itself, which is the most important part, doesn't disappoint at all. Not the hardest, which is comprehensible since it's the first boss of the game, but it somewhat teaches you the game's mechanics. You have to dodge and parry, but you can still beat it in Dark Souls style and dodge your way out of danger for you Dark Souls players. It's also really cinematic and overall a cool fight. Again, it's not really that hard, but at the same time it is, because Sekiro is hard as balls for a first playthrough. B tier, Lady Butterfly. Yes, you are probably thinking that this is a mid to late game boss, and you would be correct, but I defeated her right after the first boss. Needless to say, I got my anal cavity dilated, mainly because of the fact that I had to beat her again in Dark Souls style, which is far from optimal. Yes, at the time I still didn't have the combat figured out, so I suffered a lot. But I still think that she's a great encounter with a bonkers second phase, and even in subsequent playthroughs when you learn the combat, she's really intense, which makes her really great, and she's also on a secret area, so you can't really ask for a lot more. A tier. The good rampage of bosses continues to build up, reaching the first S tier of the video, Genishiro Ashin. And this guy is a masterclass on how to build a boss for a variety of reasons. Firstly, subversion of expectations. So, you got your ass beaten by this guy in the beginning, so you think to yourself, yeah, I'm gonna kill you, man. You are done, I'm so much stronger, and you proceed to get your face beaten into a pulp. At least I did, because at the time I still didn't know how to properly play, so I had to dodge, and that's really not the way you wanna kill him, to be honest. And you think this is a two-phase fight. Everyone thinks that, so poor you, poor me, poor everyone. Second thing that makes this fight great is basically the fact that you have to use every tool on your arsenal in terms of game's mechanics to defeat him effectively. You have to deflect, jump, Mikiri counter, electrocute his ass. It's very, very overwhelming.
But that's why I love it.
Well, lastly, but definitely not least, this has to be the craziest fight I have ever had in my entire life. Why? Well, imagine this. I'm there, getting my face destroyed, electrocuted, sliced. Not a great time, I may say, but after some hours, I am finally able to give him the last strike. So I go there, I press R1 to finish him, and I start running in ecstasy, very happy I defeated him. And I hear my brother, which was by my side the whole time this actually happened, I hear my brother saying, screaming,
It isn't over!
I look at the TV and I see I have to press R1 once again. I have to finish the killing animation. I have forgotten that feature. How could I forget such a thing? Am I bound to replay this fight for eternity? No, this can't be it. So I was standing here, the controller was there. I jumped, I literally jumped, grabbed the controller, pressed the thing midair, and finished the killing animation. You might think that this is complete bullshit and that this didn't happen, but I promise you, it's the truth, and as you can probably tell, it left a big mark on my brain, and my elbow, and my hips. Well, S tier. Mano, esquece. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Great Serpent to calm down a bit. And the real question is this a boss? Is a boss only linked to the unforgettable feeling of greatness from passing a challenge? And what were you doing when the second tower fell?
Eu tava pagando boquete.
Overall, I would say that this is more of a gimmick, but she's big, and in Demon Souls they are also considered bosses, so this is a gimmick boss, okay? And in terms of gimmick stuff, it's pretty cool. There's a stealth section, fuck the eye section. Great! Still, I don't think it comes close to the other bosses of the game. I mean, what's cooler, this or this? Yeah, D tier. The Monkey Boy! I got this fight spoiled. Yep, I already knew his gimmick before I fight him. But I still think that this is one of the most amazing Sekiro encounters. And, ironically or not, it was the one that made me understand Sekiro's combat. I know, it's weird, but let's get to why it is amazing. At the time, I still didn't know how to properly play. So when I saw a boss that didn't require parrying, I have to admit, I smiled. But then he proceeded to feast me uncontrollably, like I only knew how to dodge. But the fight was literally bearing impossible as is this a word? It was just so hard. The guy, he's so fast, he's too fast for his own good, and he throws you shit. It's not fair. However, after some hours, I was finally able to beat him, but I knew it was only the beginning, because I got spoiled. So spoiler alert, when he rips his head off like a maniac, I knew I was fucked. And I was right. As hard as the first phase, if not harder. Because now, with the addition of getting fucking murdered, I was also getting sliced. It felt like I was gonna be there forever, until I went on YouTube and saw a guy like parrying the big sword, and I was like, wait, is this it? So I went there, past the first phase, faced the faceless monkey that is even possible. And when he got up and tried to slice me with the big sword, I was like, ka-ching! Parry. The combat finally made sense. It finally got into my head. Parry, 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 and on that bitch. So satisfying, and undoubtedly one of the most good Sekiro fights. Even though I didn't get the Mom, why is he getting up moment, I got the satisfaction of somewhat getting the gameplay. So, S tier. Now, some other monkey boys, the folding screen monkeys. This is a tough one to rank because I really like puzzles, and this puzzle fight was made very well. However, it's a one-time fun. Once you get over them and you want to replay the game some more, they always take a lot of time, even by knowing how to defeat them, and you really just want to go out there and deflect shit. So yeah, D tier. Continuing with the African monkeys. Who the fuck was that guy? We have arrived at the worst boss of the game by far. I'm not even gonna call it F tier because that would be an insult to other F tiers out there. This is big doo-doo caca, no fun racist bitch tier. So which boss is it? I mean, you know what it is. I mean, who they are. The worst couple in history. Even worse than a couple of furries. At least those I can take a shotgun, and this boss is just the epiphany and the why our society isn't working properly. Right before the boss starts, you have to kill this lady, which is bad by itself, and I'm gonna talk about it in the semi-bosses section. So you kill her and you go to fight the other dudes, and even though you firstly fight the second phase, which is very satisfying, parry, the other motherfucker shows up. Holy bro, it's like I can't even develop on the topic. They are as bad as a boss can get. Like, gang fights can be really bad. Sometimes they're good, but most of the times they're shit. And in this case, they didn't even try. They are both aggressive. The wow moment leads to a shitty fight. Everything sucks here. Everything sucks. At least the boss is exploitable with the firecrackers. Otherwise I would cry. This is big doo-doo caca, no fun racist bitch tier. And I'm the racist. Next boss, it's okay. It's not the best, but it's cool. Corrupted Monk. I'm not gonna develop on him because I'm going to talk about its superior version in a bit, so C tier. And now, Great Shinobi Owl. One of my favorite encounters by far. Like, it is already S tier even with its superior version, so it shows you how much quality it is on this guy. But let's get to why it is so good. So, all in all, this is basically what I would feel if a player was able to play as a boss. And what do I mean by that? He uses every trick up his sleeve to fuck you up. He has shuriken, anti-heal, bombs. It's really overwhelming and stressing, but that's the reason why it's great. You always have to be on your toes. So yeah, a great fight, but there is one that's better, which is basically its superior version. Father Owl? Yeah, Father Owl. Owl Father. So, if Great Shinobi Owl is S tier, then Owl Father has to be like S tier, but more good. So, there's two phases. The first phase, essentially the same as the first one, which is cool, you get to fight him again. And yes, in this case it's cool, because you don't have his airy wife throwing you shit. Anyway, the true magic comes when you reach the second phase. From Software thought, yeah, a big badass shinobi isn't enough. Let's make him use blue fire owl powers, why not? And guess what? They were completely right. That just pushed the fight into another level. A fight that was already god tier was made even better. Now you have to be aware up close, but you also have to be aware when you are far away because of the blue owl motherfucker powers. It makes the fight so much more intense and so much more cinematic. Incredible. Top of the S tier. For now. Next up, my boy, my homie, Rantan, the true monk.
Breathe in.
So, pretty good fight, not gonna lie. It's not the craziest, you know, you don't have the craziest scenarios, you don't have the craziest, whoa, what the fuck is going on, what the fuck is this? But it's a pretty overall good fight. The place where you fight him is cool, it's peaceful, it's pretty. The fight itself, 3 phases, so intense as hell. There's long ass combos, variations of the combos, very ching ching. It's very cool, it sums up Sekiro very nicely. Pretty good fight, A tier. Now another gimmick-like fight, but a very well done one. Divine Dragon. I just love this encounter and the cinematic nature that it has. One of the best gimmick fights ever made in a From Software game. Just losing to this one. Like, it's a giant dragon, and the way you defeat him is by jumping 100 meters in the air and you electrocuting his ass. If this isn't badass, I don't know what it is. I really don't know if this isn't badass, I don't know what it is. I don't even need to elaborate on why this fight is amazing. You can see it with your own eyes. A tier. I am fucked. So, Demon of Hatred is basically mid-tier, but in Japan. In this fight, From Software did what they do best, which is kick your ass like there's no tomorrow. You went through all of the game parrying. It was like, you don't parry, you die. It was needed for you to master those combat mechanics, parry, Mikiri counter and whatnot. So you become a god at that. And then you reach Demon of Hatred, and From Software is like... Just like everyone says, this guy somehow managed to get out of Bloodborne and join Sekiro. It's a 3-phase fight full of combos and variations of the combos with the ability to essentially one-shot you. It's really hard, but very enjoyable once you get the hang of it. And similarly to other fights with tons of phases, this one is very intense, but this time is even more intense because if it catches you with almost any of its attacks, it's probably a direct passage through to the Shadow Realm. Very hard. A tier. And now it's time to talk about the 2 final bosses. And I will start with the one that you have to face if you decide to cut the game by half. Emma and Ishin. Even though that I don't think that they are at the level of the real final boss, they are still pretty damn enjoyable. So let's start with Emma. Don't get her wrong. She will beat you as hard as I have beat it to her. No cap. She has insane grabs, very fast, very challenging, but very manageable, so when you make her go wash some dishes, that's where the real fight starts. And just like expected, it's an amazing duel. I love the fact that they switched up the electrocuting stuff for flaming fires. It makes the fight different, with another feel and a whole nother vibe. Very cinematic like always, hard but not too hard. Cool stuff. Still, I don't think that is on the level of the true final boss, so it gets the A tier. Let's get into the last one. Oh man, everyone adores this old guy. It is on almost every list of best bosses from Software, and it's for a good reason. Undoubtedly one of the most intense and cinematic fights ever created by mankind, and it's not only on From Software games, it's on all games really. First of all, it's a 4-phase duel. Even though this guy is not really that challenging, which makes sense to show you how far you have come, you still have to be on your toes because you cannot lose any heals against him, because you will need every possible resource to defeat the old man. Ishin does not care if you have some type of disability, which you do, because he will destroy you in every possible way that he can find. He has lightning, guns, spears, swords, so overwhelming. So many combos, so much damage, the cinematic nature, the lightning's coming from the sky, you jump, you electrocute him, now you parry the sword, now you jump again. It is completely absurd, and it's one of the most crazy fights that I've ever seen in my entire life, and it's on my top 4, like it's my 4th favorite fight ever, as you can see in this video right here, go watch it. Ishin the Sword Saint goes right on top of the ass, and it's my ass. Okay, every boss ranked, but I ain't done yet. Let's talk a little bit about some of the mini-bosses, the ones that I thought were good enough to mention. But for that, let's go to another scenery, to another place. Chained Ogre slams you against the ground and could probably pound you for 3 hours straight. Oh yeah! Tier. Headless Dudes. Meh. D tier. Drunk Guy. Pretty cool, but he doesn't drunk while driving, and everyone knows that's the way to go. B tier. Flaming Bull. Don't like it. D tier. Armored Warrior, probably the best mini-boss of the game. Cool place to fight him, good lore, good combat mechanics. A tier. Long Centipede, also pretty cool. A tier. Ashin Elite, basic. D tier. Odin of the Water, if you defeated her without bugging her, or I don't know, fucking hacking the game, you are lying. She's impossible, it's Meteor 2.0, won't even try her, it's not worth. D tier. Snake Eyes Shit Eyes. This is the worst piece of shit I've ever seen in my entire life. It's even worse than the boss that is followed up. Like, it's also on the big doo-doo caca racist bitch, whatever the fuck I said tier, and I am still the racist. So with this, I'm finished up with the tier list. Look at this, so beautiful. These are the true and funnest challenges of Sekiro, and the best way to interiorize the combat that this game has. As you can probably see, all of the bosses are pretty high up, which shows you the quality that this game overall has. So yeah, this is it. Thanks for watching. Don't cry because Sekiro 2 will never exist, and peace! Mete onde achas que é bom.